I always wonder when these streams actually start because there's like 3 different buttons I have to push. Wow. I'm, I'm looking at that last little poll I did just about if people are playing some coin. Still, 25% of people are playing Dogecoin. It's 37% of people over crypto, which I thought a lot more would be. Princess 24/7, what's up? I have a question. I'm doing a poor man's cover call. My short leg sell call is very deep in the money. Can I turn my short leg into a debit spread and get out of it and still keep my long leap? You could. So your short leg, like you're basically just underwater on your short leg now. You have to buy it back, which sucks. When I did when I did the one on whatchamacallit that I just did. Uh, oh my gosh. Oh snap. It was a little bit in the money. Um, what what's the underlying? Out of curiosity. Yeah. So, but basically, yes, you absolutely could. Um, you could just take that one, move it out, and you're gonna get a lot more credit for it than what you already have. So even though it's in the money, you could move it out. You can move it out. I don't know what that does to your overall position though. I ended up just closing mine, and I was like, I think I was 100. I was like pretty close to what I moved it out for, but that way it was just kind of all done with. Watching from Greece, like Greece. What? Why are you there? And I assume that means you're like on some vacation. What are you doing watching YouTube on vacation? That's crazy. Roku 430. Dude, awesome. Is it really cheap right now? I need to go on vacation so damn bad. Like you're like Greece, yes. I always figure like if there's a um if there's a Greece, then there's probably a Greece in the US like somewhere. I'm sure. It's like what's the oh gosh. What is that one country? Georgia. Like there's a country of Georgia, state of Georgia, and I've seen people like no, like someone trying to explain no, the country of Georgia. They're like, you're stupid. It's a state. But I need to go on vacation so damn bad. Like 2 years ago, it's been 2 years since I was planning on going to Malaysia. That was my last destination. Um, and then of course everything got shut down. Man, there's absolutely nothing I enjoy more than traveling, especially to. I just love third world countries. I think they're awesome, and I like being out of my element. Like I don't. I like having a little difficulty trying to figure out the language or how to communicate with somebody, and people are just nice and friendly generally. So, yeah, Greece. Just got back, been out all day. What time is it there? Super late. super early, something like that. Super late, I guess. Yeah, super late. Traveling is the best. I should check that out. I haven't had much interest to go. The closest I wanted to go to Greece is Egypt. In my short term, I had like my short list is actually like Colombia, Malaysia, and Egypt. Oh, I need to be looking at some Roku. Oh, damn. when's your when's your short? When's the one that you sold? And do you have enough? And do you have enough money to where it makes sense? Like I don't know what your strike prices are. So if you get the shares called away from you, are you still profitable on your leaps? I think that's something I always try to do. So like worst case scenario, it's at least a profitable move. Yeah, I think like Egypt, you have to wait for the right time, like politically, like political climate wise. I mean, they're probably not doing so well right now, but I've seen Colombia's beaches look awesome, and then it's Spanish, so that's not the most difficult thing to deal with, and Malaysia just because that's where I was planning on going next. Um, okay, so 7:30 long call and 4:35 October 15th. So we have, let me see. So we have quite a ways, and it was this. I didn't even see earnings. What was the news on Roku that let it up? Like, is it news? I think I did hear something about them. Are they? Was it something with Amazon or something? Let me see. Yeah, that's super short. So either it's a tough position to be in, especially like just a week out. Um, are you still like super? I guess like you'd have to step back. For me, this is kind of what I would do. I'd step back. I mean, there's no 100% correct thing. If you sold it, if you get the shares called away and you're profitable, cool. If that happens, um, but you still can you still could roll that out all the way till I don't know what the your let's see your short. Let's look at it actually. Let me grab some Robinhood Roku. You should still be able to roll it out though, and just make it a debit spread. I would think so. Not even like looking at the numbers, but your short is 430. Um, so what's that thing worth? Good lord, $4,600. $4,600, and your long is October 15th. So sure, you could still roll it out, and I don't know what the expectation. I guess yeah. I mean, you could definitely roll it out. That would give you more money, and then also, I mean, obviously, since you bought it, you're somehow bullish on the stock. I don't know what the recent news was. I would analyze that a little bit and just kind of taking a step back, think about if it's something that actually affects the overall fundamentals of the business, because a lot of times we get these crazy spikes up, and you're almost better off taking an advantage of you have kind of an out like right now and let them get called away, and then when it goes back down, go ahead and buy another one. But if you're still ultimately bullish on it, even rolling it out like a couple more weeks or something like that, I think would be a good idea if you think the stock price is going to calm down a bit. I don't know if that was. It looks like to me just glancing at it. I mean, that looks like a pretty crazy overreaction. I mean, I don't know what made it shoot up over 10%. Um, but I think, yeah, in my case, I would just roll it out unless I think this is something that I want. I don't mind it getting called away because I think this pop was an overreaction. That's all. But I honestly I don't know. Oh, it's like almost at all time highs too. I don't follow Roku. I think I actually own some, which is pretty cool. I think in my long term I have some. So yeah, I don't have a like absolutely 100% do this. I think at least you have. I mean, you only have 4 days. There's not much extrinsic value left there. Um, and you think it's come like then just like roll it out short term. I mean, you could roll it out long term too, but that's only another couple months too at that point. If it's in October, and when I'm thinking leaps, like usually I'm thinking that the long is going to be like at least 6 months out or a year out. That's not very long. I think if you think it's going to come down immediately, but down to 435. Let's see, you're four. Wait, you sold a 435, and your long was. Oh, your short is 430. So you sold below that? That's crazy. But I guess it looked pretty good at the time, with it down so much. Oh, no, because you're gonna be forced to. If your short call is 430 and your long is 435, you have to roll that out. You have to roll that out and up. Otherwise, you're gonna be buying them at 435 and selling them at 430. Oh, 375. Okay. Oh, yeah, 475 or 3. Okay, your short's at 375. Huge difference. Huge difference. And okay. And your short is 430. Even if that is a bit of an overreaction, I don't know. If you think it's going to go below 430, roll it out a couple weeks, see what happens. I mean, you still have a ton of gains there. You're kind of in a no lose situation, which is good. It's just like just whatever's optimal at this point. That move's already happened, but it just like you just have to go based on what your thoughts about the underlying is. And I don't follow Roku enough to say what I think is going to happen or give any opinion. I mean, I'm just looking at the week, and that looks like an overreaction to something when it was just kind of chilling for a long time. What was the news? I didn't see if you responded. So Liam. My overview of my main strategy is just selling put credit spreads on my options account. I do want to make sure everybody does know I do have a long term where the majority of my money is. So my options, it's not like I'm taking every bit of my savings and wealth, and that's not what I'm trying to live off of or retire off of or anything. So I have M1 Finance where I have quite a bit of my holdings. I have TD Ameritrade, and those are the bulk of where I have my accounts. So I always have those. Those are always like pretty steady. I mean, they move with the market. I was just looking, my 1 year, even on my was it my 401k? No, I have an account. I just deposit $2,000 a month and buy something, whatever stock I like, just long term equity, and kind of set it and forget it. And I think I was just looking at that. That's just for the year. For the year, that's up 104%. I mean, obviously, we're coming out of COVID recovery, which is super cool. But main strategy with that account, the Robinhood one that's public, and just kind of like a background of where it started with $575. I was lucky enough to get in during the time when the market was tanking. Bought puts on. It didn't matter what you bought puts on. Everything went down. Made a pretty good jump on that. Made a lot of money on the bonds. That was probably my biggest gain, 20, 30, 40,000. I don't even remember. Um, and then after that big dump, I continued to kind of explore different strategies and things until I really settled in to put credit spreads as something I liked. And basically the reason for that is, I mean, we're all humans, recognize patterns, and like when I look at the SPY, and it doesn't matter what time period, if it's 3 years, 5 years, like overall it does go up. It obviously can come down, but over the long terms, I think things are going up. And primarily, I traded a lot of put credit spreads on Tesla, which were responsible for probably at least $100,000 worth of gain, at least in my account. And that's something because I believe long term, I see it 5 years, 7 years from now being several $1,000s a share. So I'm comfortable rolling out put credit spreads that are moving against me to a later date, knowing somewhere in the future, whether I have to roll them out 6 months, a year, I don't really care. I could roll them out 2 years if I needed to. That's where they're going to end up. And that's the company that I follow the most. Like when I'm talking to, like talking through this play with Princess, and like if you're playing a stock, you should have a good idea of what the underlying is, and that's a company that I follow. I follow every little bit of news, listen to every earnings call, and so that's why I'm very confident and comfortable with it. So like if you're buying a Leaps or playing a poor man's cover call on Roku, hopefully you know the stock, unless it's just for fun. And there are some things I do just for fun. I'm playing the wheel on Tilray just for fun. I'm not familiar with the weed, like where it's supposed to go. I'm not a consumer, and that's just kind of like a for fun. And it's really insane to think like first world problems and all that stuff. Like we literally have money to play with, or well, other people can't get food right now. It's crazy. But that's the world we live in right now. Let's see. So hopefully that answered that. And Leem, is that actually a Malaysian last name or Korean? One of those two? Which would be kind of funny, since that's where I want to go. How much percent of your account you trade with are you comfortable doing spreads with? On that account, all of it. So I guess I didn't even read this. So I could do spreads with all my account, but you can see like I've been slowly rolling things into underlying equity just because I want some stability there too. So I could do it with all of it in that account if that was my account that I had every bit of like stocks, my S&P, like all of my holdings in, about 10%. I wouldn't personally use more than 10% of my funds available for doing any sort of options play unless they were selling puts. That's the only thing I would do more than that with. Like if you, like this week, if I wanted to buy 100 shares of Disney, I would rather sell the put to hopefully gain those shares, because at least you're ending up with underlying equities. But like with credit spreads, debit spreads, like any of those other plays, you can end up with zero out of it. And if that's the only money you have to play with, then not a great idea. I guess if you have zero and you're wanting to try to make $100 into something, sure, but don't let it be your long-term savings and retirement or anything like that. It's not a great plan. I've been taking solely 90% probability of profit and have had a decent gain since. I understand rolling isn't accounted for. Probability possibly gives you a second chance to win. Well, it actually sucks, because if your probability of profit is 90%, then you're probably getting 10% on the credit, or on the uh, collateral needed, but 90% also means 10% of the time you should lose. I mean, that's the crappy reality reality of it. Is there is that 10% where it can wipe you out, but what's going to save you is stop losses or managing it. I don't think that yeah, you're right. And yeah, I guess you already said it. Rolling isn't accounted for in probability of profit. It does give you a second chance. You're right. Yeah, and really you only need what 51%. What stocks have you been playing lately, Jacob? I actually opened up account. I'm trying to expand the number of underlyings that I'm doing them on. So I had Snap. Thankfully that ripped up. Um, some Googles and some Amazons. You're Cambodian slash Chinese. Oh, okay. Lim is actually Chinese, is it? Maybe it's Lin, Lin. But I swear that I think there's a guy at my bank who's from Malaysia. I swear his last name is Lin, but I could totally be wrong. I've only been I really want to go to Cambodia someday. I've been to Vietnam. I think I was like an hour away. That part of the country is so awesome. That or not part of the country, part of the world. Part of the world is awesome. Like talking about not needing, you don't even need like a fund for your vacation. You don't need a budget. You just, man, it's insane. Anything and everything that you want is less than it costs. Like hotel, travel, a driver, food, everything for the day is less than like two people going out to eat or going out to drink here. Yeah, literally drinks. How is I don't know if you pay attention. Do you know how Cambodia is doing like with the virus stuff? I know Vietnam, like I know people there and people that have family there and just not doing well like with this third wave thing, which really sucks. And actually I got part of my information from a guy I watched. He just does like food content. And he's like, first wave, it was okay. Everybody like locked down. Second wave, okay. Everybody like locked down. Now third wave, people are being, they're not, they're like not scared of it anymore. So everybody's being more reckless. And then it's just like wiping people out. People come from like small cities to go work in the bigger cities. And then the government won't let them work. They can't leave. They can't go home. They don't have anything, like no food. It's a sad situation. The Delta variant's kind of it's getting more and more scary. And then realizing people who already have vaccinations can get it. It sucks. When you initiate your put credit spreads, how many? I guess yeah. I was only interested in the name. All right. When you initiate your put credit spreads, how many days till expiration are you using? Weeklies or longer? Um, Ideally, so I'll do them anywhere. It doesn't matter to me. Like I'll do them a week out, 2 weeks out, depending on what the recent price action is and upcoming catalyst. The ideal, uh, the ideal time is going to be about 6 weeks out, though. 5, 6 weeks out, and start managing them at 21 days. That's like statistically the best way to do it. But it's those last 2 3 weeks where you really get that theta decay. But it's all there's never I mean, there's no unfair advantage that you're going to find. The numbers, I mean, the market's fair. I mean, that's just what it is. The market is just 100% fair. I'm comfortable doing 100% selling puts, but only like 10%. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I like doing like for my other plays besides besides like just put credit spreads like 1%. It's kind of fun once in a while. Some stupid out of the money calls that did you guys know 70 it's like 77% of options expire worthless. 77%. So there's only 23% that you could buy that become profitable. And that's like in the money, out of the money. I guess that tells me like selling is much better than buying. I just heard that statistic this last week, and it was from a professional runs an options trading office. Guy wasn't just somebody saying that. You think there's people living off selling puts and covered calls? Yeah, totally. Actually, I had a call with somebody. Actually, I guess it was like 4 or 5 months ago or so, and that's all he did. He was just talking, and we were just like talking through the stuff. He reached out and he's like, "Hey, just want to BS about some of this stuff," and I was like, "Cool." And he's working with a ton, a ton of money, and so is there's I'll if I think about it, I'll post it a little bit later. But I know there's some guy. I think he's posted stuff online too every once in a while, and he does it. But yeah, I mean, if you have a couple $1,000,000 worth of stock, like why not? You totally could, especially on. You could sell puts on SPY all day long. I mean, QYLD. Look at QYLD. That pays 10% a year, and that's a reasonable expectations. So you could kind of simulate the same thing. That's a good goal to have too. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I really like it. Sucks because you don't have the growth there, but QYLD for that just consistent income, and to know you put $100 in there, and you're just basically getting $1 a month in there. Put $200 in there, you're getting a couple dollars a month. 1,000, you're getting $10 a month. It's my new AT&T. Hello from Norway again. Late for you too. Everybody's on the other side of the world except for me. I need to go. And unfortunately, like my work is not slowing down. I guess I probably could leave. I really want to. I don't follow closely. Not sure how it is in Cambodia. I personally haven't visited there yet. I haven't either, but I super wanted to go. I mean, I guess. Well, first of all, I'm like thinking, do I want to go back to where my ancestry is? But I don't even know what it is. Never. My parents probably told me at one point, but at some point I realized I don't care. I don't at all care what's in my blood because like good or bad, none of those accomplishments are mine. None of those like tragedy, like nothing bad is me, nothing good is me. I can't take credit for what this, like if I'm part French, yeah, go France, or Irish or whatever, do I get to drink more? I don't know. But I just like absolutely never cared. So I guess if I was, I don't know. I think I'm pretty much a mutt though. Maybe if I was half something, it would be different, and I'd want to go visit somewhere. I don't know. I think it is super more fun to be out of your element and go somewhere and it's a whole new culture. Like everything is different. People do stuff different. They eat different, talk different, socialize different. I think that is way more interesting than just go find where your parents were from. What's up from DC? One other person in my hemisphere. Yeah. Thanks for being on this side of the world. That's another whole thing. East Coast too. I want to go there, but and I just really want to. I want to see the historical stuff on our East Coast and like just the colonial states really badly too. But every time I think about flying all the way over there, I'm like, well, another few hours I can just be out of the country. So I end up doing that. Farthest east has been like New Orleans, and I had a layover in Atlanta once. That's it. My girlfriend's trying to talk me into going to Tennessee and one other state over there. I'll probably go though, at least for a few days. I feel like since I stopped working, life is much more boring, especially doing college online at the same time. So I'm second guessing like early retirement because I feel more fulfilled doing a 9 to 5 for some reason. Yeah, because you're doing stuff. Wow. So that's actually something I am working through. I actually talked to a therapist. I'm still talking through that with a therapist and trying to grab on or grasp like what are the things that make you feel satisfied, not satisfied, happy, bored, um, and it's a real trip when you start working through that in your mind. Like there's certain very monotonous tasks, like they could be complete labor that in my mind I don't want to do. Like I don't want to go cut the grass, but then while I'm doing it and just sitting there doing labor, it is very calming and almost like meditation out there. And then on the other side of stuff, the things like even like looking back that I actually enjoyed, made difference. It's always either learning something brand new or going somewhere brand new. Um, like just anything new is so huge. Um, and that I think is the difference. So like the point of retiring to sit and do like watch Netflix is that's pretty crazy. Um, and then also like another part of it, I remember I was actually literally watching Netflix. It was probably, I don't know, 6 8 months ago or something like that, and it was an episode where this guy was in his bed, like in his deathbed, dying, and I was like, and he was on Netflix show. He was like watching TV, and I was like, oh, I can watch Netflix when I'm almost dead. Like I should probably go get something done or do something for somebody else or do something, at least enjoyable. So yeah, fulfillment, man. It's interesting. It is super interesting. And then also the difference between like happy, sad, blissful, and all those different like levels of I guess of emotion or responses. It's pretty crazy. It's something that's pretty crazy to think about. I actually, because I got so excited, the therapist I was talking to, she was like, "Okay, figure this and this out." And then like when I started really thinking about it, I think I made her a video with like diagrams and stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, this." She's like, "Okay, you got it." But I'm still working through that. You have a long time to go too. Oh. Instead of returning back into my working strategy, I started playing short-term weekly calls and puts on Amazon, and Tesla lost half my account and continued playing on tilt, doing risky trades. Thanks for the great content. Keep up the work. Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for watching it. Thanks for the compliments. Makes it worth doing. I really wanted to do it just to have other people to BS with, share what I learned, and so I'm super happy you find any value out of it at all. And thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for all showing up today too. I know Saturdays we always got a lot to do. I got stuff to do too. I gotta catch up on my real job. Yeah, it sucks, man. Trying to really get back, and that's something. Like if you look right now to where I was, the beginning of the year before Tesla tanked, right? I was up quite a bit more on my options trading. Yes, this is live, Sigma Paul Pot. Um, and then trying to keep that out of your mind, like you have to measure from today forward, not like really where you were. From so many people I've talked to, I mean, even Tom Sosnoff, and he's like the worst trades are always just trying to get back or trying to chase something that's losing and like doubling down on it, tripling down on it. It's just like a slippery slope. And of course, with options, it's a slippery, it's a slick slope. Oh, sweet. I just had to get my, yeah, side note. This morning, I didn't know when I was going to be able to stream today because I was getting my refrigerator replaced again from a new one that I purchased. It's crazy. Everything has got like smart connectivity now. Your washing machine tells you when your clothes are done. And then I was looking at it. The refrigerator has Sabbath mode. I don't know which religions go off of that. I was like, what is this? And apparently it's so the digital screen doesn't show up on the refrigerator during, I don't know, I guess during the Sabbath. That's crazy. It's Jewish. So is that like every Sunday? Or just like, is it certain holidays? So they can use the refrigerator, just can have the digital screen. I don't even know what that was about, but I thought it was crazy that my Korean my Korean made refrigerator has Sabbath mode for Jewish people. I guess it only takes them a couple seconds to program. All right, Friday to Saturday. It's probably a good thing. Everybody should have a shutdown mode. I love what Chinese New Year's freaking brilliant. Wish we all had that, like 2 weeks of no working. I know that's not a religious group, but unless we count the CCP. Bleak San, what's up, man? Thanks for finally making it. You and your, that looks like an Atari controller on your icon. I remember Atari 2600. Oh, have I already covered my thoughts into Tesla heading into earnings? No, I have not. I think I've been talking 80% about traveling and other stuff. I was just looking at these guys and looking at earnings and kind of what happened after this earnings. So what, prior to earnings, a couple quarters ago, that was like right at our high, and where we went all the way down in the next few months down to what, 570. And these are all beats. And that was a big beat too. That was a can I see it on here? Estimated 63, actual 0.8. So earnings beat, goes down. Last one, estimated earnings 43 cents, actual 93, and well, we were chilling there at 730, and then over the next little period down to 570. And now here we are. Like, where are we gonna go after another earnings beat? I feel like I'm very confident that it's going to be an earnings beat, just by really good analysis. That I think people that's all they do that look at it from outside the perspective of just an automaker. So I think we're going to have another beat. Sales and deliveries were good. Elon's not getting a whole bunch more compensation like he did last quarter, so that'll be positive. I think efficiencies have increased, so I think the margin will increase. So I think everything's positive. But here's the thing that I'm keeping in mind here. We've had two good earnings. Stock goes down, but now is everybody expecting the same thing? Kind of like the Model S release, and it didn't go down. We got so used to them having an event and then the stock going down, and then finally it didn't have that poor reaction. So I'm wondering this time, I'm almost feeling, as far as like what the stock price is going to do, my guess will be, my official guess will be, it's just going to be stagnant. It might have a pop and a drop within 20, 30, 40 bucks or something like that, but I think it'll be more stagnant. I don't think we're going to get that downside like we have. And actually this, can I move this line? This point is kind of continuing still. Oh no, that's not how I meant to move it, but I guess it's the same angle. But I think earnings will be good. Commodore 64 was my first PC, old school. Dude, that was my first PC. I learned how to program BASIC on that. I loved them. I learned so much. I learned so much on that computer. Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I don't miss things here. Like the way European countries have where you get 1 month off and sick time. Yeah. Aren't we like US is the most like we just straight up work the most. And then in my past, I used to just like cash out my hours and then keep on working. Screw that. Screw that. I use every bit of vacation time and then take tons off after that now. It's stupid. This is a stupid way of living to not do anything. Working just to survive is really ridiculous. Money can't buy not one stitch of happiness. Like once you have enough to survive. You ever think about getting into futures? I was watching Tom from Tastyworks talking about their small exchange futures and how they streamline their futures trading to being like options. I haven't considered that yet. Maybe, and I haven't had an interest in it actually. If I was to take like time to really dive into one thing, I think my next move that I would study would just be day trading, and like really focusing on it to the point where I would expect to spend a year hoping to break even, probably losing money until I'd be profitable at it. That would be my expectations. Hopefully I'd exceed that, but like really putting time into that. But futures, no. Think we'll hear anything about Cybertruck? I think we'll, yeah. I mean, at least somebody's going to ask the question. I mean, they said it's supposed to be out this year, so we don't have a whole lot of months yet. Giga Texas is, I mean, they've got to be pretty close to be able to be good for production on it. But with the motor shortage and chip shortage, that could be making it difficult. And I don't know. I know that they had both those issues in China. I assume that they have it in US too, but it doesn't look like it's really affect their production as much. Yeah, not only Cybertruck, but the Semi. And it's kind of a weird thing because I'm super excited about those, but since Tesla is really just battery constrained, that's the reason they're just not able to produce more and more and do these things. Like a Semi just takes a lot of batteries. I'm not sure what the size of the battery packs on the Cybertruck is going to be, but those are probably going to take more batteries. And since the first ones are going to be like the tri-motor and dual motor, if motors are short right now, then you're better off making a single motor Model 3 that takes less batteries, less motors, and producing more of those than fewer trucks and Ys and semis and things from an overall standpoint. But yeah, I ordered a Cybertruck. I'm excited to get that. I have no idea, and I have no idea where I'm at on the list. I think there's some kind of way you can check your. I should see that. There's some way I'm supposed to be able to check my Cyberjet. I'm gonna look. I have my where's my Cybertruck order? There's too many things with that. I think there's some way you're supposed to be able to check how far down the list you are in ordering it. There you go. Thank you for your order. There's my reservation number. I ordered dual motor all-wheel drive autopilot with FSD. I should do that later though. All right, let's see. What Iron Condor would be good play? Oh, what Iron Condor would be a good play? Like other than Tesla, what would you play an Iron Condor on? I actually, when I started looking at Netflix, I like Netflix for Iron Condor right now. They like over this past. Let's grab one of these empty charts. Like even though they're on the downside right now, and I think you could like a 480, 580. My God, they've been like I don't know if they've been for 3 years, but this last year, like this low 460, like what they hit? They hit 590 once, but for that, for like the past year, absolute like barcode and just a solid support around 570s or so, 580s, and resistance up 560. I think that is a solid place for an Iron Condor. That's just off the top of my head. Netflix, yes sir. I have one on there, and I have what do I have? Oh, I have a couple Tesla ones too, just for next week, just until IV goes down. And I think they're like 3x the expected move. Speaking of semi, what about Hylon and their RNG? I just don't follow it. I haven't. I haven't seen anything. And Hylon, they're doing like the hydrogen or fuel cell stuff, right? Just so I keep my stuff straight. Oh my gosh. Is that what they're doing? Renewable natural gas. I don't know. I think everything is moving so electric, and so much technology and research is going to put in there. If somebody else could do it, if somebody else could find something that worked, great. But it doesn't make sense unless there's. And I mean, okay, I was gonna say unless there's something I don't know. I realize there is a ton of stuff that I don't know. There's more I don't know than what I do. But unless there's something that is that much better than the electric solution, and everything is already moving in that direction so heavily, so much research, so much money, so much investment, I don't see why they would have any significance in the semi market, unless there's maybe something that's much better. That's much better, maybe like long haul, but we haven't seen what solutions come up with that. I mean, if Neo can swap battery packs for their cars, why couldn't semis? Like, why couldn't semis in a couple minutes? They have a nice place sitting underneath their wheels that those could be swappable. But with the amount of how fast charging is now too, I don't think it's a real issue with the electric trucks. But there's a ton of I don't know. I just haven't been really impressed by any of the analysis. Nothing that makes sense to me. I'm not an over-the-road trucker, but I can understand some things. There's nothing there that there's no points that I've ever seen in any of the presentations that make me go, aha, that's something that makes sense to me. That's something I want to invest in. Oh, you're in Oak Harbor, dude. I used to work up there. So I worked at the Naval Air Station up there on Woodby, and I stayed. There was like a hotel motel thing, and we were put into that hotel, and they had like old single wide trailers that they rented out. That's when my company stuck me. That was like when I was a kid. I worked up there, and it was terrible listening to the Jets practice at night. I haven't been up there in a while though. Actually, the sheriff. So when I had my a neighbor's car stolen, crashed through my fence, and the sheriff that came to visit my house, he was from Oak Harbor. He lived up there. Yes, the jet sucks. But yeah, he lives up there, and we were talking about, because it was, oh, maybe not obviously. We have a lot of, oh, the whole country does have a lot of drug addict problems, and that was probably the guy that stole the car and crashed into my fence. And he said even up there was getting bad, which is crazy. I just think of that as like kind of small, military area, and not much else. What got you into being a fan of Tesla products? What started it for you mainly? Watching. So I think the very first thing was, I can't remember if I was looking at the car first. I can't remember if which one was which. So I did want to change a vehicle to something safer, which Tesla ended up being the safest thing out there. And I can't remember if that was slightly after I got into Tesla, but it was after watching several interviews with Elon and the mission goal of Tesla itself. That was huge. I can't remember, like, I'd gone years, like Elon Musk, what a huge name now. I don't know. I think it was huge a few years ago, but for some reason I'd never bothered to figure out exactly who he was or what he did. I knew he ran Tesla. That was about it. That was my very small knowledge about it. And then, it may have been even one of Joe Rogan's podcasts he did. Like, I watched one of those, and everything he said made sense. The way he's doing things made sense. I mean, the mission of it's awesome, and he's already succeeded so much. And just him being completely innovated, and I think a truly, like, planet and people and as a species loving person and doing the best for that. He's never negative. He just doesn't like care about competition. That's never in his focus. It's just how can we progress the whole world into stop burning a bunch of fossil fuels, and he's just absolutely succeeding. So that, and then like he built, I don't know if you know, like there was some, where was that? Probably on the other side of the world too, where those it was like miners or kids or trapped somewhere, and he like Elon's like, well, let's build some like little submarines or whatever, submersible things to get these guys out. I'm like, how cool. When he was absolutely like tearing up about not getting those mega packs done for an Australia project that time, and people were suffering without power. Switching the company to build not defibrillators. God, I should know the word now. That's all we heard during the pandemic. The breathing machines, whatever they're called, during that time. So just like all of his actions, and like his absolute final thought on the first podcast I think I watched with Joe Rogan was, like, if there's one thing he wanted to say, it was just like love can change the world. And totally, I believe it. I'm on board. And yeah, so all that stuff was it. And then coming into researching for my own vehicle, there's so many things about it that just they not only made sense from support, burning less fuels and love your planet and all that jazz, but it actually makes sense. I was comparing it against my two options were the Tesla or the RAV4 hybrid. RAV4 way cheaper, but I think in the long run the Tesla just made sense. Ventilators, thank you. Ventilators. I know, like in a word like literally we heard probably 10,000 times last year or during this year. Ventilators, thank you. So I think super good guy, and super good mission, super good company. And even though when some of the things seem like a little bit crazy, I never can disagree with it. Like, even if it's short term, hey, we're producing this, now we're not. We're taking Bitcoin, now we're not. And some of the stuff seems like really crazy. but I understand where he's going. Like, he's like, okay, I realize this. I was wrong. I'm making the change. He's not like subject to a board of directors or something like that where every single decision, okay, we need to talk about it. We need to see whose feelings we're going to hurt, who's going to cry, what it's going to do to the stock price. You know, he just doesn't care about any of that and just always seems to make the right choice to the best of his knowledge. And the fact that it's so much more like the automotive, the solar, the energy, like pretty awesome company. He's totally not afraid to be wrong. Yes, 100%. Yeah, hit the nail on the head. Not afraid and doesn't care, which I think is huge. Where so many people are very, especially like CEOs, where you kind of have to be scared of your reputation. It's almost like a politician kind of situation where they just don't want to speak their mind, right? You had Trump, who whatever came to his mind, he would just say it, go off script. Or you have, which is kind of similar, and then you have other people that will only say things after it's approved and doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. Yeah, right. Can't say anything. I just realized, yeah, I was thinking something funny. We were talking about drivers, and being just being scared to say things about like certain drivers or whatever, and like it's nothing bad. It's just pattern recognition at the end of the day. All right, no more Tesla. Tesla failed to break out. It's trash. Revisit Tesla in October. Yeah, this week I'm hardly looking at anything. I'm waiting to see how stock reacts, see what kind of announcement there are from Tesla, but that's about it. This is a very strange holding pattern. I don't feel very confident. I don't feel confident in either direction right now of anything. The COVID variant is pretty real. And I think that could have another wave through everything. I'm surprised, like, we're not going back to mask mandates yet. So that just got, like, more real for me. A guy I watch, or guy's podcast I listened to, who had both of his immunizations like he should. He's got it. I mean, I guess it's not as severe, but the fact, okay, now it can rerun through everybody. Yeah, that's going to be another hindrance for sure. I mean, and that's just like here in the U.S. and other countries are just being like, they're beat up. Do I think there could be another March 2020? No, because I think it could come down, but I don't think it'll be the same because we've already learned from that. We already know there's a recovery on the other side of it. So I think it's like just the second time you go through it, it's like first time you break up with a girl and your heart's broken and life is over. Second, third time, you're like, okay, I'm sad, but I know I'm going to be happy as soon as I find another one next week. But yeah, because that March 2020, that was still literally when it was 100% unknown. I didn't know, was I going back to work in a month, 6 months, a year? Was the whole economy just going to go down to zero? I mean, even when it started bouncing up, I remember I didn't have the feeling like we were ready to be bouncing up yet. That was for sure. But, we have a lot of people back to work. And then I think we over subsidized everything a bit. Some people made too much money or are still making too much money on their unemployment and not going back to work and being productive. But, I mean, people just did the best they can. I don't think any of the politicians or anything tried to do something poorly. It just in their mind, it was the best thing, agree or disagree. So we are where we are. But it's kind of like a housing crash, Now, like, we've seen, 2008, but we know what happens on the other side. So even if our house's value goes down a lot, we're not scared because we know a few years later it's probably going to be higher than it was. What do you do in Oak Harbor, by the way? Just wondering. I don't know what industries are up there besides the Naval Air Station. I love Palantir as well. Dude, I love Palantir. I think Palantir, when we were buying it at $21, I think like 5 years from now, we're like, damn, why didn't I put my whole life savings into Palantir? And we probably still won't 100% understand what it is. Palantir Leaps have been cheap for 2023. What do I have? I have June's. I need to buy some more, though. I want to buy a few more. Have you personally seen any difference in the way people interact after the COVID thing? Yeah, totally. Like people kind of keeping that distance, not so many handshakes. But so for my job, I do outside sales, so I go to people's houses. Like, so I see a lot. I meet probably at least 4 new people or like households every single day. And so in the beginning, everybody was still like super far apart. And then when everything reopened, like both myself and the other people were like, oh my God, it's like, it's another human. Everybody's super excited. Like they had kids like that were a few months old that literally haven't seen another human, or like little kids or animals and all that stuff. And then we all got more comfortable. And then like, even though I meet like 4 people a day, I'm back to shaking maybe a hand every couple days now. And just the last couple of weeks, people are starting to put back masks on too. I also think it depends like what part of the country you live in too. Like I'm in Seattle where people are afraid to hurt feelings. So I started putting mine back on more often just in case somebody's like, he's not wearing a mask. But that was also when I was feeling fine and didn't realize COVID variant or whatever Delta variant was running through everybody, so I didn't. I was like, cool, I can go to the store. I use Palantir at work for our client, Solid Tech. Can you say what kind of like what you do? Things they do in the dark web. Been around for a long time, just under the radar until they went public. Yeah, that's like one of the things that I love about Palantir, like the stuff that they do, like finding kids and everything. Like they use their stuff for such good too. And it's crazy. Anybody I ever see, like when I'm watching the video and somebody in the comments like use it, or or military people use it, and they're just like, yeah, that's mission critical stuff. Nobody ever says, yeah, it's okay. National security. I guess that's a pretty big deal. I wanted to do that, but they wouldn't guarantee I could do it. I was going to join the military and went to go take a test to see how well I could learn foreign languages. Did that, and then there was one more test they were going to give me, and I wanted to guarantee I was going to be able to do what I wanted to do. But then they wouldn't guarantee it, so I didn't want to end up in the infantry somewhere. So I didn't do that. So are you a fan of Palantir because you've used it at work, or like started buying it like as soon as they went public, just because of that? Like I start seeing the usage on like little things now, like just day-to-day things about just even like poor communications between data sets, like where a company is like 2 degrees away, and for the end consumer, the experience is horrible. And that's just like from a consumer standpoint. I'm at like, I don't know, the usage is just absolutely endless. I'm on the other base by the next. I'm just up here going to a military school before Okinawa. Awesome. That's super exciting. A lot of people get to go to Okinawa. I'll go there someday. Not on my short list, on my long list though. The underlying tech is what drives me and what they do and how they do it under the covers. Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird from somebody who can't use it, and just watching as much stuff that's public out there as possible. Yeah, I don't feel like I'll ever be able to 100% understand it. Like all their demo days are geared towards people who would actually be using the software. Obviously, they have no interest in selling it to investors, but just looking at the broad spectrum, and I semi can wrap my mind around the usage. But I'm sure there's so much more than what I understand. But even the amount that I could understand, and it's been out like I probably have. I have a good solid work week, a good 40 hours, 50 hours into every like videos and stuff that I can watch on them and what they can do. Just totally second favorite stock though. Tesla and Palantir. And I think Palantir is a bargain right now. But you did say I need to do that. I have some money I need to spend in a couple of my accounts. And I love leaps. Have you already bought some? Man, you're right though. 650 for some $20 leaps. I mean, I guess to be responsible, we should get some 70 deltas though, huh? Or is 20 the 70? Oh, 20 is pretty much a 70. Yeah, I should grab a few of those. Fire sale on Palantir. Dude, that is dirt cheap. I think January 2023. Good lord, and it just touched, what did it touch? It touched like $27, $28. Break even, $26. Do you see, like, knowing as much as you do you see any like bear case scenarios? I was actually listening to that feed on Twitter about it where people are discussing bear case scenarios, and they're like, I'm a bull, but here's one thing, and they kind of discredit it. Yeah, we just touched 27 too. Yeah, cool. I'm excited. I'll pick up a few of those. I think yeah, those $20. I'll pick some of those up from my TD account for sure. I think I already have four. I have June. What do I have? The June 2020s. I have four of those. January 2023. What's the January? What strike did you get, Camelo? $20 and $40. Oh, what are the 40s going for? They're probably nothing, right? I didn't even consider that. $200. That is a sale. Oh, I've been trying to be more responsible with my leaps and grab 70 deltas though. I have a $30 call. It was like either a December, I think it was a December or January. Could have sold a little bit ago and made some money on it. I do have a, nope, must be January 2020. Yeah, 130. It's worth a whole dollar now. Not much, but well, $15. That sounds very responsible. Is that like a? It's probably like a at least a point 0.8, 0.9 delta or something at this point. Yeah, 0.8, 0.81. Nice. That's even more responsible. Man, those aren't even very much. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I was looking at some and I just bought another one of the Junes. I think I bought it just a couple days ago, realizing that yeah, I think this is another low period and we should be going back up soon. And I feel like it's like one of those, it's 100% like one of those things, kind of like where Tesla took a long time for the average person to find out about it, understand about it, and kind of see like the bit of future. Where Palantir is, you can't, like, you cannot take an hour and understand what Palantir does. I think when you start researching it, I feel like my first, like, I understood data management. That was all I understood when they IPO'd. And then your first hour, you're almost more confused because of the myriad of videos. You're like, oh, here's a sheriff and a missing kids like person and medical, like what? And after a couple hours, you kind of start to get it, but it's like hours and hours and hours before it starts to make sense. And since it's a product that 99% of us are probably never ever going to touch, that's not going to become broad at all. But when it gets more popular and it doubles and triples in price or something like that, or just have like the incredible earnings after spending so much, that's when people will pay attention. How the money is up premium. Yep. Yeah, I think I have 7. I've been selling calls. Let's see. Is it the same? We have. Yeah. I have $28 calls. 7 of those sold on them. Easy money. I wish it was easy. But it's crazy, like $28 calls like a couple weeks ago, you're like, oh, am I gonna get my shares called away from me? It was pretty dang close. But I think it's crazy because I think they're one of the few actually awesome undervalued companies that are also susceptible to like the meme stock pumps. So even though they get pumped up, I'm like, okay, now we're getting closer to the real value of it. It's not like an AMC or GM, like GameStop or whatever, that gets pumped up way, way, way above the value. Uh-oh. Nice. Well, how long have we been going here? Hour and 15. I think that might be good for me, unless you guys have anything else specifically. You like Naked? You like Naked as the actual company? Or you like it to play as what? Why do you like Naked? I bought them, sold them during like the first pump, and that was it. Both. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's at least a long ways to go. So, anyhow, yeah, I'm going to get going. I'm going to go get my regular work done, I suppose, for today. Thank you guys. Thanks for everybody who's still here from all over the world, apparently. Greece, Norway, DC, everything. Yeah, but for sure, I'd like to chat more about that too when I get some more time. You're very welcome. So much more interesting for me when we have, I don't know, like 10 people, 9, 10 people seems like intimate enough where we can kind of talk back and forth. Nothing too crazy, but enough to make it interesting. About more on the dip last Monday. Happy Saturday to you, Super Pinster. I buy. Wait, was it Monday? I know I bought another 25 shares. Does it show? I never use this platform except for on these days. But I just picked up another 25 shares. Oh wait, because I'm still on the dang, whatchamacallit. Does it show my shares? Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. My history. Oh well. Anyways, I can't remember when the dip was. Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Okay, you got it. I shall. $15. Happy Saturday. Option guys 2, 100%. Yeah, sorry I didn't get back to that last weekend. I will though. I will. I just got to take care of my responsibilities first. All right, love you guys. Hopefully we'll talk soon. See you Monday if nothing else. Maybe Monday we can stream like and watch Tesla do what it does. If I get, let me see. Am I back in time? I actually hate when I'm working during an earnings call. It's the worst. Like, hurry up. I don't care if you want it or buy or don't buy. Let me get out of here and let me get back to my earnings call. What time? Let me look at that real quick. What time is the earnings call? 4:30 Central Standard Time. Oh God, what is that to English? 4:30 to PST. That's 2. Oh man, I'm still gonna be working. Oh well. Hopefully everybody cancels and nobody wants to see me. All right, guys, have a great weekend, guys and gals. And we'll talk Monday and then hopefully next week too. All right, love you guys. Bye.